What if I told you that a former WNBA star managed to earn more in just 1 week online than she did throughout her entire professional basketball career? It sounds unbelievable, but according to Liz Cambage, that's exactly what happened after she joined OnlyFans in 2025. And once you look at the numbers, the story becomes even more shocking. So how did we get here, and what does it reveal about the current state of women's sports? Standing at 6 feet 8 inches, Cambage has always been impossible to ignore, not just because of her physical presence, but because of her voice. Throughout her career, she's been one of the most outspoken figures in women's basketball, consistently calling attention to the massive pay gap between male and female athletes. While many players chose to stay quiet, Cambage openly challenged the system, questioning why elite athletes in the WNBA were earning a fraction of what their NBA counterparts make. Her career itself was impressive. A dominant center with elite scoring ability, Cambage played multiple seasons in the WNBA and became a 4-time All-Star. She also represented Australia on the international stage, further building her reputation as one of the top players in the game. But despite her talent and accomplishments, the financial rewards never quite matched the level of performance or the attention she brought to the sport. Things took a major turn in 2022, when Cambage parted ways with the Los Angeles Sparks midway through the season. At the time, it raised plenty of questions. Was it frustration with the league? Personal reasons? Or something deeper tied to the limitations she had been speaking about for years? After stepping away from the WNBA, Cambage made a decision that would completely change her financial trajectory. Instead of relying solely on basketball, she began exploring alternative income streams, something more and more athletes are starting to consider. And in 2025, she joined OnlyFans, a platform that allows creators to monetize exclusive content directly from their audience. What happened next caught almost everyone off guard. According to multiple reports, Cambage generated approximately $1.5 million on the platform in less than a year. Let that number sink in for a moment. Over the course of her entire WNBA career, spanning several seasons, she earned roughly $590,000 in salary. That means in just a few months online, she more than doubled what she made playing professional basketball at the highest level, and it didn't stop there. In interviews and public appearances, Cambage suggested that at one point, she made more money in a single week than she ever did during an entire WNBA season. That's not just a surprising statistic, it's a statement that raises serious questions about how female athletes are valued. When TMZ caught up with her at LAX, she didn't shy away from the topic. In fact, she laughed. When asked about her earnings, she responded, "You know, the WNBA salary, it's not hard to make more money doing anything." It was a blunt, almost shocking comment, but it reflected a reality that many players already understand. She went even further, encouraging other women to explore opportunities outside of traditional sports. Her message was simple: don't limit yourself. If the system isn't paying you what you're worth, find other ways to create value, and the numbers across the league support her point. While there has been progress in recent years, the average WNBA salary still sits below $250,000 per year. For many players, especially those early in their careers, it's significantly less. Take Caitlin Clark, for example, one of the most talked about rookies in recent history. Despite her massive popularity and impact on the game, her base WNBA salary is reported to be around $76,000. Now, to be fair, endorsements and sponsorships can dramatically increase that number. But those deals are not guaranteed for every player. Even at the higher end of the pay scale, the gap remains clear. Stars like Arike Ogunbowale are earning over $725,000 on multi-year contracts, which is a significant improvement compared to previous years. But when you break it down annually, it still doesn't come close to the salaries seen in men's professional basketball, and for rookies, the situation is even more restrictive. Under the current system, a first-year player can earn a maximum of around $348,000 over a 4-year contract. That's less than what some alternative leagues are now offering in a single year. One of those alternatives is the new 3-on-3 Unrivaled League, which is already making headlines for its player-friendly approach. Reports suggest that athletes in this league could earn over $350,000 per year, not including bonuses and additional incentives. That's a game-changing figure, especially for players who are used to much lower salaries in traditional leagues. So when you compare these numbers, Cambage's decision starts to make a lot more sense. But her story isn't just about money, it's about control. For years, athletes have relied on leagues, teams, and sponsors to determine their value. Platforms like OnlyFans flip that model completely. Instead of negotiating contracts behind closed doors, creators can connect directly with their audience and set their own prices. For someone like Cambage, who already had a strong personal brand and a global following, the transition was almost seamless. She didn't need to wait for a contract offer or depend on league structures. She created her own opportunity, and the market responded. Of course, this path isn't without controversy. Not everyone agrees with the idea of athletes turning to platforms like OnlyFans. Some critics argue that it shifts the focus away from sports, while others question the long-term impact on an athlete's image, but supporters see it differently. They view it as empowerment, a way for women to take ownership of their careers and their finances in a system that hasn't always rewarded them fairly, and Cambage isn't alone. Across the sports world, more athletes are beginning to explore side ventures, from social media content and brand partnerships to personal businesses and digital platforms. The goal is the same: diversify income and reduce reliance on a single source, because the reality is, even at the highest level, a sports career is limited. Injuries, team changes, and age can all impact how long an athlete stays in the game. Building multiple income streams isn't just smart, it's becoming necessary. What makes Cambage's story stand out is just how extreme the difference is. Going from a total career earning of under $600,000 in the WNBA to over $1.5 million online in less than a year is more than a financial shift, it's a complete redefinition of value. It forces fans, analysts, and even league officials to ask a difficult question: why is there such a massive gap in the first place? Part of the answer lies in revenue. The NBA generates billions of dollars annually, while the WNBA operates on a much smaller scale. That difference impacts everything from salaries to marketing budgets. But at the same time, the popularity of women's sports is growing rapidly, and players are becoming bigger stars than ever before, which raises another question: should the pay gap still be this wide? Cambage's journey adds fuel to that conversation. By stepping outside the traditional system and finding success on her own terms, she's shown that the issue isn't just about talent, it's about opportunity, visibility, and how value is measured. And perhaps most importantly, she's challenged the idea that athletes have to follow a single path. At the end of the day, her story is about more than just one player or one platform. It's about a shift in mindset. A shift where athletes, especially women, are starting to recognize their worth beyond the court. Whether you agree with her choices or not, one thing is clear: Liz Cambage changed the conversation, because when a professional athlete can earn more in a week online than in an entire season of elite competition, it's no longer just a personal success story, it's a sign that something in the system needs to change.